Hello, everyone. I'm on video now. Yay. Bah. Yay. Welcome to episode 1 of season 2 of Leviosa, a Harry Potter podcast. This week, we will be discussing chapter 1 of Chamber of Secrets, The Worst Birthday. Before we get into any analysis, some warnings. There will be spoilers in this podcast. I am an avid Harry Potter fan who has read chapter after chapter of each of the 7 Harry Potter books multiple times. So that means I will have theories and little insider information that first time readers do not possess. If you want to have a first time reader's perspective on the books, I would recommend Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you would get your podcasts. I will try to keep the spoilers to a minimum. Also, I'm trying to put my mumbo jumbo brain thoughts into words, and it may come out strange sometimes, so bear with me. We've reached over 200 downloads since I last posted, and HBO posted their Philosopher's Stone season trailer, so that's amazing. I literally cried. I think it's finally time to get to my analysis of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 1, The Worst Birthday. Quote, Note for the first time, an argument had broken out over breakfast at number 4 Privet Drive. Mr. Vernon Dursley had been woken in the early hours of the morning by a loud hooting noise from his nephew Harry's room. Unquote. We're back! Finally! Sorry for headphone users. Of course, we have to start off with the Dursleys every single book. But hey, look on the bright side. If we didn't have to start a book with the Harry Potter book with the Dursleys, Harry wouldn't have the bond of blood charm that Lily gave through her sacrifice, and he would most likely have been killed by Bellatrix and her crew who tried to find Voldemort after he was defeated by baby Harry. Oh wait, that took a really dark turn. Anyway, Vernon is trying to ratify the situation. Suggests that Harry should control Hedwig to stop her hooting. The problem here is Hedwig is locked up under Uncle Vernon's orders. So the reason that she's being loud is because she can't get out. So, in summary, what Uncle Vernon is telling Harry to do, or asking him to do, is both impossible and inhumane because of himself. Harry tries to explain this exact point to Uncle Vernon, but Vernon takes it the wrong way and thinks that Harry just wants to send a help letter to all of his, quote, weird friends to get him away from the Dursleys. Honestly, I think Harry would do this, but at this exact moment, he just wants to keep in contact with his friends for the 2 months he has summer holiday for. Harry tries to argue with Uncle Vernon, but is interrupted by the loud belch that comes from what should be pictured as a massive behemoth of a 12-year-old Dudley. I'm not fat shaming. That's literally how it that is how it's described in my brain. How the words on the page look in my brain. Honestly, the way that JKR describes his belch makes him sound like a 40-year-old man when he's not even a teenager yet. I don't know, maybe 12-year-olds have loud belches. Dudley asks for more bacon, and Aunt Petunia looks at him with teary eyes. I don't know how she keeps it together when she looks at Dudley. The way he's described seems like he is obese at age 12. And yeah, that's not good at all. She should get on a diet. Foreshadowing. Petunia makes a comment about the Smeltings food, and Vernon retorts with, quote, I never went hungry when I was at Smeltings, unquote. Based on Vernon's size now, he must have been Dudley's size at age 12, which means he was not having any sort of hunger cravings, to get scientifical. Yes. Vernon must have had a stomach significantly bigger than his heart, which is what your stomach is supposed to be. It's supposed to be, I think, your heart. And yeah, it's definitely bigger than his heart. Dudley asks Harry to pass the bacon in the frying pan, and in response, Harry accidentally says the forbidden word, magic. All the Dursleys have dramatic reactions. For instance, Dudley falls off his chair with what is described as, quote, a crash that shook the whole kitchen, unquote. What is it with J.K. Rowling and fat shaming? That, ladies and gentlemen, is why you should never, ever lean back in your chair. Ever. Because you could fall over like Dudley and bruise your tailbone, appendix, and your butt all at the same time. Though that might actually not happen. Vernon gets so mad that he yells at Harry for supposedly threatening Dudley. He only threatened Dudley with manners, Dursley. Are you saying that even though you are a normal, boring person, that you hate the concept of manners? Harry tries to get away from being the perpetrator in this situation, and as Uncle Vernon calms down, he is described as breathing like a, quote, winded rhinoceros, unquote. How does J.K. Rowling know what these things sound like? It just blows my mind. The narrator then goes into the recap of Harry's life thus far. This includes that Harry is a wizard, he goes to wizard school at Hogwarts, and the many activities he does at Hogwarts are described. This includes Quidditch, which can all be summed up in this sentence. Quote, Quidditch, the most popular sport in the wizarding world. 6 tall goalposts, 4 flying balls, and 14 players on broomsticks. Unquote. If you are a newbie to the Harry Potter universe, this explanation of Quidditch sounds exciting, and not chaotic as it actually is, as we will see in the Rogue Bludger chapter later in this book, and also the many chapters in the Harry Potter series where Harry gets hurt while doing Quidditch. I like how J.K. Rowling puts these little recaps at the beginning of each book, and whenever she revisits a part of the story that hasn't been seen in a while, she just simply makes Harry remember that he interacted with that plot element earlier that in his life. At the beginning of the summer, the Dursleys had locked up all of Harry's magic stuff in his previous bedroom, a cupboard under the stairs. How humane of them. They must not care if Harry gets separated from all the things he loves in the wizarding world, like Quidditch, and super cool classes, like Transfiguration. That's like one of my favorite classes to do in Hogwarts Legacy. Harry worries that he will lose his spot on the Quidditch team after he hasn't practiced all summer, and also that he will not be able to finish his homework before going back to school. About the Quidditch thing, let me make this perfectly clear. As long as Oliver Wood is captain of the Gryffindor Quidditch team, Harry will never, ever be able to be cut. Second, on the homework thing, what happened to last minute cramming the homework on the Hogwarts Express? You have at least 7 hours to complete a couple of assignments. And when you're cramming and you have less time to do the cramming works. That's my advice. Don't take that advice. It never works. The narrator then describes what the Dursleys' attitude toward magic is, and it's very mean and disgusting. The Dursleys have harbored some sort of angry shame towards Harry and his world, which is, coincidentally enough, the complete opposite of what Lily's parents thought of the wonderful wizarding world. Then it goes to the physical similarities between Harry and the Dursleys, which, shockingly, add up to nothing. Petunia is described as having a horse-looking, bony face. Enter TikTok horse face filter that people use to do their makeup and then see how bad they did on their makeup. Dudley is described as blonde, pink, and porky. Enter Big Jack Horner from Puss in Boots, except he's English now, and I feel like that would be cooler for some reason. Harry is described as having, quote, brilliant green eyes and jet black hair, unquote. He sounds like Percy Jackson, although he must have missed the part where he had ADHD. He probably has some sort of schizophrenia, which is not bad. It's just Wizarding World sounds crazy. Don't worry, my neurodivergent friends. Hermione, Luna, and Tonks all show signs of ADHD, so we have some form of representation. The most important aspect of Harry's appearance, is his scar. After all, he defeated the Dark Lord with it when he was just a baby, and no one knows how. Well, at least no one has told Harry how they know how. Yes, Dumbledore, Mr. Secret Keeper, mastermind a pig for slaughter plan that you don't reveal for like 5 years. I'm looking at you, buddy. As a child, Harry was taught to believe that his parents had died in a car crash and not in the heroic way they actually had. But after Hogwarts had sent a letter and Hagrid, along with it, Harry finally learned the truth about his famous self and his famous scar. Well, he's famous. The scar is a way to identify that he's famous, Harry Potter. Usually, the Dursleys don't remember Harry's birthday when it's his birthday, but this year might be a little different because Uncle Vernon says, quote, "Now, as we all know, today is a very important day," unquote. Harry thinks something in his head like, "For real life?" But it was too good to be true because Vernon is talking about the business dinner that he's hosting tonight with a rich contractor, or at least the British version of one. I don't know what the American version is. I don't know why J.K. Rowling did this, but she just threw it out that Vernon works for a company that makes drills. That's a random fact that's not entirely essential to the plot, and it's too boring even for those Dursley people. Then Vernon runs everyone through the timeline of the evening, and the way he says some stuff seems like he was in the British military. He only has to say the words positions in relation to a specific time, and I immediately think of all those Nerf gun battles that my brother treated as actual battles, and I got hit a lot by Nerf guns. Each of the Dursleys go over their positions, most of which seem normal, until they get to Harry. That is, he has to be, quote, "in my bedroom, making no noise and pretending I'm not there," unquote. Well, at least he doesn't have to pretend he doesn't exist, which is what movie Harry has to do. He says this phrase two more times in a way that seems is meant to lock that action into his brain. Meanwhile, the Dursleys are going through their script, including Dudley's line being that he wrote an essay about Mr. Mason, which is the name of the contractor. Maybe it's because we're not the one receiving this comment, but that comment feels really scripted. I think that's obvious. I guess that wasn't obvious to me. It's also a Deus ex machina, which is a convenient plot point, which is something I learned about today. Vernon is so sure that the business dinner will go well tonight and starts talking about their plans to buy a summer home in Mallorca. What is it with the Dursleys and living in Mallorca? First it was Aunt Marge, now it's the Dursleys. Now it's the other Dursleys. Yeah. So the Dursleys spread out for all the tasks they need to complete before their guests arrive. Petunia cleaning with Harry helping her, Dudley taunting Harry, and Vernon going to get the dinner jackets for him and Dudley. Before he starts to clean, Harry goes into the backyard and depressingly sings Happy Birthday to himself. He's lonely and he misses his true home, Hogwarts. He also misses Hermione, Ron, and all the things he liked about the Wizarding World, including Quidditch. He reminisces about the many times he had thought about using magic to escape, and he explains how the Dursleys would react to this. Quote, "He knew it was the only terror that he might turn them into dung beetles that stopped them from locking him in the cupboard under the stairs with his wand and broomstick." Unquote. Wow. The Dursleys are really scared of tiny little bugs, apparently. Harry sort of resurfaced their fear by muttering under his breath the first few weeks of summer, so that he could scare Dudley. Harry also is longing for any sort of contact from the Wizarding World, even from Malfoy, which is a stretch. Harry also keeps having nightmares about Quirrell-Mort. For those who don't know, Quirrell-Mort is the name that fans give the Horcrux that Quirrell is in year one. Suddenly, Harry gets up with a start because he sees two enormous eyes in a hedge near him. We all know who that is, don't we, Mr. "I'm an elf, so I don't know the concept of boundaries and making Harry Potter the center of a god complex that I have created." Dobby. It's Dobby. I tried to make that in a Dobby voice. Then Harry gets jump scared again by Dudley, this time completely on accident, because Dudley has come to taunt Harry about the Dursleys not celebrating his birthday. The cousins go back and forth, taunting each other. In Harry's case, he basically threatens Dudley that he will tell Petunia about Dudley talking about wizards, which doesn't make any sense why Dudley is forbidden to talk about wizards, Dudley also does seem to be in possession of a belt. Or he doesn't seem to be in possession of a belt because his pants keep sliding down. I don't know why J.K. Rowling included this. I'm just pointing it out that she included it because it's not like I don't know why she fat shames people. It's annoying. Harry takes it too far by pretending that he's going to set the hedge where Dobby was on fire. Dudley freaks out and screams for his mother. Petunia knows the signs of magic, so she knows Harry didn't actually cast any spells, but she does almost kill him by throwing a soapy frying pan at his head. Talk about attempted murder. I thought you were supposed to keep him safe, dude. Harry also has to do more chores as punishment. His chores including cleaning the windows, washing the car, mowing the lawn, trimming the flower beds, pruning and watering roses, and last but certainly not least, repainting the garden bench. Harry is hard on himself for stooping to Dudley's level and letting Dudley's words anger him. Dudley has said the very thing that Harry was thinking about. Could Dudley be illegitimate? Harry gets done at 7:30 p.m. and goes inside to eat his dinner. 2 slices of bread with a lump of cheese, which in my opinion is the best ADHD concoction known to man. After eating his small dinner, Harry goes upstairs and goes into his room. But there's something wrong. There's someone or something on his bed. Bum bum bum. There once was a boy named Harry, destined to be a star. Let's find out more about him in this week's Fact and Trivia. The trivia for this week is, for next chapter, what 2 nationalities does Uncle Vernon joke about with Mr. and Mrs. Mason? Is it A, American people and German people? Is it B, American people and Japanese people? Is it C, German people and Mexican people? Or is it D, Mexican and Chinese people? And the fun fact for this week is the Chamber of Secrets book was originally going to be named The Half-Blood Prince with most of the same plot, but they changed it because they didn't want to put the Horcrux plot too early in the story because it was still a kid's book, and I guess it's not considered a kid's book in book 6. So for the quote for this week, this is not a Harry Potter quote, it's actually a Emma Watson quote, which I think really reflects how Harry feels about Hogwarts. Quote, "There's something about Harry Potter that makes life richer," unquote. Harry could say this about Hogwarts, even the wizarding world, because even when times get dark, the thought of Hogwarts for Harry makes life worth living. Well, that wraps up another episode of Leviosa, a Harry Potter podcast. Make sure to follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave a review if you so choose. Any feedback is really helpful. You could also send feedback to the podcast email, leviosapod@gmail.com. I'm also working on a website for the podcast where you can access the episodes and contact me. That will be in the description box of the next episode, most likely. Just for a moment, I would like to thank everyone who has helped me in this journey so far, and I hope that whoever is currently listening to this, just know that you are appreciated as a person and as a Harry Potter fan, and you are more than a place that on my analytics page. I cherish each and every one of my current 20-something subscribers, and if you haven't already subscribed, maybe you could join them. I can't wait to go through Chamber of Secrets with you. With that, Wingardium Leviosa.